Hi. I am Morgan Blozen and I'm going to tell you all about the book I read, The Fallout. In this book, The Fallout, it's based on an extended family that moved into a compound, an underground shelter, because their father heard rumors going around saying that there was going to be an explosion that would kill everyone. The family moves into the compound on a night where the main character Eli and his twin brother Eddie turn 9 years old. That night Eddie sneaks into his grandmother's car with her to go get the cases of water at the house. By the time they get back, everyone's already gone. They were left to die. From there, the family lives in the compound for 6 long years, until Eli finally figures out that this was all his father's plan. To leave them there to die. Eli told no one, not even his mother or older sister, Lexi. He had to figure out the 6-digit code in order to open the hatch to free his family. When done, he must find his twin brother who he believes is dead. The book is mainly based on the family and their lives of hiding from people. Throughout the middle of the book, Eli notices that he's seen a guy watching him everywhere he went ever since his twin brother brought home his new friend, Tony. While growing up, Eddie didn't know anything about where his family was or what was going on. He hasn't been in contact with them for the 6 years. Through the days of knowing Tony, Eli notices something suspicious. Tony has been asking so many questions, and he reminds him of someone he has met before. After a while of being with his bodyguards, he signs up for the study on a disease called progeria. This is when a child is born with a disorder that makes them age rapidly, and the child can usually only live to 14, if they are lucky. Most children die at 13. While doing that study, Eli learns that his dad invested a lot of money into this company after the building was engulfed in flames and ruined all of their research and studies. This happened right when they finally discovered a cure. Eli realizes that everything was a plan. Tony was a plan, locking them in the compound, people following them around, a mansion in Hawaii, everything they've been through was a secret plan. Turns out that Tony, Eddie's new friend, was an old family friend Phil, but the boy's father turned him to a teen again and changed his name to Tony. When figuring this out, Eddie, Eli and Lexi get kidnapped by Tony, and they crash on this island, while in a plane. When Eli wakes up, he discovers that Tony drugged all of them, so he can take over the plane and complete this mission that he was forced to be involved in. While on the island, they discover a pathway that leads them to this really big beach house. The brothers and sisters sneak inside when they see their father. Eddie and Lexi go running to him and Eli just stood there in shock. He thought his father was dead. Eli didn't realize that Eddie wasn't there with them, in the compound. He didn't know all the harmful things their father did and how it affected him. Eli was determined to kill his father. Not just for no reason, he tried to kill them and everything he could do, he would do. And he wouldn't leave until it was accomplished. Eli and Eddie start wrestling on the beach, then Lexi breaks it up. Eli tells Eddie what the yellow room was in the compound. It was their supplement. In that yellow room, was their baby brother wouldn't let that happen. The only way to do that was to destroy his father. And he thought he did that. When Eddie found out the news, he started fighting his father. By the end of the book, Eli sets a building on fire, which his father is in, but unconscious. He tries to drag him out, but Tony, Phil, grabs Eli and tells him it's either just you and me or just me. And Eli follows Tony out and they run and jump into the plane, with them struggles. From the plane, They watched the whole island go into flames. From there, they head back home and live life with no more worries. The good thing is they trusted no one. What was it like living in the compound for 6 years?
After we sat in the compound for 6 years, I didn't know what to think after we saw the real world again. I just wanted to find my brother. When my family and I wound up in Hawaii, I ran up to the mansion's door and knocked until someone answered. It was my brother who opened the door. They didn't know we were free. They weren't even expecting us. When I saw his face for the first time since we were 9 years old, I just stood there in astonishment. We just stared at each other until my grandmother appeared at the door. I lost my focus and gave her the biggest hug I ever gave anybody. While laying in bed that night, I realized I never said anything to my brother, the kid that I thought died because of me. I didn't even give him a hug. I didn't want to go in his room that late at night.
When you first saw your brother for the first time, how did you feel?
When my family and I first left to go into the compound, I was scared. I didn't have my best friend with me. None of us knew how long we were going to be in there. But, 6 years later I unleashed my family. All those years of terror, worry, and dishonesty in that little shelter made me feel something. It made me feel insecure about everything. My father, my mother, my brothers and sister, everything. Good thing I let those feelings take over my body because I'd probably be dead right now. I sat there day after day not knowing if it was my last day alive or not. When I went to sleep, I hugged my pillow and prayed to God every night that one day we would be free and I'd see my brother again. It was horrible. I would never trade one of these good days with the whole family for one of those old, boring days with no one to talk to.
What made you tell Eddie the truth about the yellow room?
After Eddie, Lexi, and I got drugged by Tony on the plane. He flew us to an island. When we woke up we found this mansion, where my father was standing in the living room. I thought he was dead. I thought we were safe. I guess I was wrong. After seeing him, Eddie and Lexi ran up to him and gave him a huge hug and I just stood there. I couldn't believe that after all those years of hardship he put us through that they could just forget all about it. But then I realized Eddie was never there. He didn't know about what my father was going to do if we ran out of food. He didn't know all the evil things my father has done to cause such hardship in the family. I had to tell Eddie. I had no choice. So after a little wrestling match on the beach between me and him, I said it. Although Lexi didn't want me to, I said it. Dad was going to kill our baby sister and brother if we ran out of food. He figured it would last us a little while before we could leave. After the words left my mouth, I realized how angry it made him. I just couldn't let him be happy.
Did you ever think you were going to see Eli again? When I lived in the compound, I was very shy. I honestly don't know why. It was probably because I was scared. I didn't want to be there. Life was very different underground. I barely had toys, I had no friends or any other family members with me, instead my mother, father, sisters and brothers. Life wasn't like how it was when we lived above ground. In the real world, I wasn't with everybody all the time. Now it was day in and day out. I just figured if I was in my own world adjusting to the new world. When Eli unlocked the big hatch, all the natural light flooded in. I didn't know what was above the shelter. I haven't seen it in 6 years. I was the last one out, and I almost died. The first couple of days in the new world were 100 times better than the underground shelter. I would traded all 6 years underground for one day above ground. It was so different, with many things to do. I had people around me and different activities. It wasn't That hard to adjust because every minute I was there, good knowing that your father was dead, and all the evil was gone. After my father died on that island, I didn't know what to think. My heart told me to be happy, but my emotions told me to be sad. I only wanted to be sad because before we went into the compound, my dad was my best friend. I went everywhere with him. Ball games, amusement parks, anywhere you could think of we went. Then one day it just all changed. I was kind of glad my father was gone for good because I had nothing to worry about. Now I knew for sure that I was safe. And I mean safe. Did you ever think you were going to see Eli again?
After my grandmother and I were left behind, I didn't think I was going to see Eli again. I knew my father was up to no good from the beginning, but I didn't want to believe my gut. I should I didn't think there was a chance he was alive, but I kept my hopes up. It was a good thing I did because now I am with him. If I give up, maybe he wouldn't have been able to accomplish what he did. And if we didn't, my family would be stuck.
How did it feel living with just your grandmother for 6 years, with no contact with your family?
The 6 years without my family was hard. I only lived with my grandmother, day in day out. I had no friends. I didn't go to school. She got her teaching license, and homeschooled me. I had a phone, but no phone numbers or apps. She said it was untraceable, but in my book, anything can be traced down. No one knew how bad I actually wanted to get in contact with anyone, especially my family. The only information I had about them was that they were nowhere near us. I didn't want to be in Hawaii. I wanted to be with everyone else, underground. I didn't care if I was safer here or not, but if I died I would died with all the people I loved the most.
How did you feel when you saw your father for the first time?
When I saw my father for the first time in 6 years, I didn't know how to feel. My body lit up with joy when I saw that tall, strong man I knew and grew up with for 9 years. After the long 3,285 days, and more, I just wanted to get to know him again. I ran as fast as I could to be in his arms again. But, I knew something was off. When Eli told me about all the evil things my father did, I wanted him dead just as much as Eli did. Maybe even more.
I personally really enjoyed reading the book. The Fallout. I would recommend this book to a friend because the book never got boring. There was always more to come. The book never left you on a cliffhanger. At some parts of the book it got confusing, but I always figured out what it meant. The Fallout is book number 2 of The Compound. It doesn't really matter if you read the first book or not, because you'll still be able to understand the story. I personally didn't read the first book, but I am looking forward to doing so. The author, S.A. Blozen, really did a great job including details that were not like any other book. This book kind of reminds me of Among the Hidden, because it has that kind of incentive to it. The book, Among the Hidden, is about life back then and how it was illegal to have 3 children. Some people hid their 3rd child, killed it, or put it up for adoption. The book is based on this police officer who has 3 children.